Hey, what's up, gamers? What's up, alpha gamers? Guys, if you want to be an alpha gamer, make sure to hit that subscribe button. You can be an alpha gamer today. It's going to change your gameplay. It's going to change your life. But anyway, guys, let's get into the speed runs. So, recently I stopped looking at my timer and I was feeling really good and my focus dramatically improved. And I'm like, what can I do in my linked pass runs? And, well, let's put it lightly. My linked pass runs haven't been so good lately. Yeah, so these have been my recent runs, right here on the left, and these are pretty much everything I've done this month, from the 130s to 2 130s. I know, 130. How did I get 2 130s? So I got these two 130s, and then I got a 124.38. This isn't a weekly race, which I actually think that races are a little unfair. They're a little unfair because usually people are just arbitrarily more focused. So usually races for me are better. You take my average run, you take my average race time. My average race time is better. This run right after this 124.02 was exceptional. And it's one of 2 runs this month I've got less than 3 blue balls, which is really bad RNG. But I don't really care that much. But yeah, it's not good RNG. And this run is very good. So this run is very good. After that, I got 9. Yeah, it looks like 9 125s and a 126. And these are not good runs. If I get a 125 on any run, it's not good unless it has an exceptional amount of blue balls or I died somewhere. But I mean, really, even then, it's still not good. Why am I dying? Yeah, every single run is a 125, and a lot of these runs actually had no major errors. This 126, for example, I actually didn't lose any. There's no real major errors. 125.37, 25.40, 25.38. Yeah, and there's no real time losses on any of these runs. I think on this 25.48, I died to I died chomps. So I have one run I died in chomps. Like that's thank God, because this is demoralizing to get this many bad runs. This Skull Woods run right here, 25.37. So I got grabbed by the hand. I lost 40 seconds on that. But in reality, I probably only lost 35 and. That's still really bad. That's not anywhere good. The thing is, on the other hand, though, I'm not dying at all. This month, I only have 3 runs with deaths. 2 of them were these 130s. So I don't know what happened on these 130s. We'll just have to pretend they never happened. 2 of these runs were on these 130s, and then I have 1 death outside of that, which is actually really good for me. That's far better than my average. If you look at my research, this pocket of 10 runs. Another outlier. This is an outlier. I was very happy with it. But yeah, generally, in my history, I'll get 4 or 6 runs in a row, but then there's a lot of deaths. Lately, not so much. I've been not dying far more. And you could say it's similar to back in October, which I think is fair. The thing about October is that I was getting much better RNG. And when you get 0 blue balls or 1 blue balls, you're generally a lot more focused. It's a lot easier to get a good run. You're a lot more motivated. So, I'm getting really bad RNG, and I'm still not really dying. So, as bad as these runs are, that's the only thing that's bad. I'm not dying at all. The RNG is actually really bad, so they're not even as bad as they just look. They look worse than they are. And my average, this is interesting too. So my average actually this is the longest I sustained a 125 average in my whole career. The second longest is right here. This is only 9 runs. I have 8 runs right here and 8 runs right here, right? So this was October. This is my most consistent month by a long shot. That's a really good month. But generally my average is very even. It's rarely a 125, right? My average used to be pretty bad. October got better, but yeah, I think I'm at 12 runs in a row. Sustaining a 125 average, which for me actually, hey, that's kind of cool. So I'm not even getting good runs yet. My consistency is actually really high. Not my consistency, I'm not dying at all. Pretty much any of these runs, and that's actually pretty good. Now, why am I getting such bad runs? And I think it's connected to. So I stopped looking at my timer like I want to say a week and a half ago, and I was feeling really good about that, and I kept going about how like this is crazy. And then I started saying I was focusing like a hell of a lot. And actually yesterday I stopped tilting as much as I normally do. So I'm like doing really good. Like why am I run so bad? I actually think this is due to not looking at the timer. So I think not looking at the timer is actually a lot worse for your results than looking at a timer generally. And I think this comes down to motivation. So I have another pocket of the most bad runs I got in a row was right here. It was 12 runs. So what happened here actually, I also stopped looking at my timer. This is back in June when I decided to not look at my timer and try to focus more on the game, and then my runs actually went really far downhill, and I think there was some more in here actually. I think it was more like this, but this pocket right here, it was an effect of that, and then I started looking at my timer again and I started doing better. But what happens is I lose motivation. And I'm not grounded in the run. And so generally when I'm doing runs and I'm looking at the timer every 20 seconds and specific doors, I get very grounded in the run. I understand, okay, I'm on a good segment. It can't be gold, but I'm plus one of my gold. This can still be a very good segment. And so I get more motivated per split, because it's not a sprint. It's a marathon. It's an hour and a half, and if you stay motivated for an hour and a half, you're going to get better runs. You're going to die less. You're going to generally do better. And looking at the timer for me actually motivates me per screen, and this happens a lot less. This last run, I lost a minute right at the end. This run is actually far, far, far better than any of these other 9 runs. This last run was far better than any of these other 9 runs. Light World was actually okay. So I think that for me, and actually I'm gonna say, hey, I think this is true for everybody. I think looking at your timer isn't a bad thing. I think it actually helps in a lot of aspects. It grounds the player. It gives the player motivation. It keeps the player motivated, right? This is a big deal. Now, why did I stop looking at the timer? And I actually have to force myself to look at the timer. So I'm doing a run. I have to force myself to look at the timer every 20 or 30 seconds, which I don't like doing, but whatever. Well, how am I doing that if I think it's a bad thing? Because I do think generally looking at the timer is distracting. So why am I forcing myself to do it, and how can I combat that? And for me, there was one big thing. I don't think looking at the timer is the problem. I'm settling the debate right now. I don't think looking at the timer is the problem. So a lot of people have been in this debate. Is looking at the timer good or bad? I'm going to say it's not. It doesn't matter. I'm going to say, in fact, actually, if anything, it's a good thing. And I think it's more about how you do it and what you do from doing it, right? So in these past 10 runs, they've all been really, really bad runs everywhere. Nothing major has gone wrong, and very little has gone right, but nothing major has gone wrong. They've just been really bad across the board. And actually, I would even argue there's a lot of like individual screens that have gone well. So I think, and one thing I've noticed also is I'm not tilting. I never tilted in any of these runs, and I think that's because I'm not motivated. I don't care about the run, and I'm a good enough player where I'm not just gonna randomly die, and I'm not highly distracted, you know. So I think actually, when I started looking at the timer, I get more motivated, but also start to get more angry. I start to tilt more. I actually don't think it's the timer. I think it's more about how you react. So if you get on a good run, and then you react well to nerves, that's what you're going to capitalize on. And I think the nerves are actually a good thing. The nerves mean you care. If you get nervous, that means you care, which is a good thing. You want to care. If you care, now you can do what you want to do. Why are you doing it at all? It's because you care. Nerves are a good thing, right? I never got nervous on any of these runs, except for this last run. I never got nervous on any of these runs, which I'm not happy about, because I never cared about any of these runs at all the whole way through, and I'm never not looking at the timer. Well, it lends to that. So I think from what this means is that you want to look at the timer because it gives you more information. It's more about how you use the information and how you don't get distracted. So I'm actually looking at the timer in this last run. I started doing it strategically. So I'm not doing it in screens where I'm trying to play the game. I'm doing it during cutscenes, and I'm also utilizing another thing I learned in the past 2 weeks, the whole focusing aspect. So looking at the timer, it was actually a byproduct of focusing more on the runs. It ended up hurting me, but the core focus, where I'm focusing more on individual stuff and I'm concentrating more on the runs, I'm executing better on a lot of specific screens. That never went away. That's still there. And when I look at the timer and then I look back at my TV, that core focus is still there, and it's actually really helpful because I'm not as distracted about the timer. And I think the real kicker here is if you're feeling so good and you're so focused and motivated, like you're on a PB pace run, it's not that hard for me to not look at the timer for 3 or 4 or 5 splits for half the run. That's not really an issue for me anymore. So I think in conclusion, looking at the timer is either a good thing or it's not really a factor. I think more importantly, trying to be focused and trying to use the information positively instead of negatively matters. I actually think being nervous and choking is better than not being nervous. I actually think it's a lot better, and I think it's the same idea where if you don't care, you're losing. If you don't care, you're losing the most. If you care and you fail, that's a good thing. You at least care, you know. The next step is to start succeeding, and I actually think that's happening for me because the thing is, I'm not dying in any of these runs. There's a lot of physical health factors that I have also going on with Link to the Past that are also kind of distracting me a little bit and letting me not play perfectly. And if you look at my 96 exit runs, so these aren't color coded at all, but actually in these runs, I am doing a lot better recently. So my last one's 128, 128, 129, 129, 130, 131, 128. These runs are a hell of a lot better than any of the runs before it, and a lot of this is due to because these health problems I run into in Link to the Past, they don't exist in Super Mario World because it's so much easier to play. And then I'm actually highly motivated all the time playing Super Mario World because I can gold every split and I can PB very easily. So I'll do 2 splits in a row and never look at the timer. I'm highly motivated during those splits because they can easily be gold splits, and so I'm a lot more concentrated. And then these health problems aren't affecting me. So my Super Mario runs are going really good. My Link to the Past runs are not going good. But the thing is, I'm not dying. I'm maintaining a 125 average, and there's a lot of specific health problems. So I actually think I'm still playing really good. I'm just not getting good results. And this is kind of the whole point of natural gameplay, is to create gameplay that you really believe in, create gameplay that's consistent, and that you could reproduce infinitely, so that when you're playing bad, you're playing better than you would be playing if you didn't have the natural gameplay. And when you're playing good, you're going to notice an improvement, right? Or you're going to just be playing good because you're playing good, right? No one's upset when they're playing good, right? It's when they're playing bad that gets them down, and they think, oh, I should change things. But if you believe in something, you're not going to change it when you get down on it. Anyway, guys, thanks for watching. If you're not an alpha gamer, guys, make sure to hit the subscribe button and become an alpha gamer today. I'll see you guys later with more speedrun theory, some more speedrun videos. Hope you guys have a great day. Hope you guys all PB this week.